Here's a question that probably won't show up in your LinkedIn feed. Why do people who earn more money often feel like they have less? It's 2026. The economy is supposedly recovering. Salaries are up in some sectors. And yet, if you look around, the people making $75,000 a year seem just as financially stressed as the people making $45,000 5 years ago. Same anxiety, same month-to-month tension, same quiet panic when an unexpected expense appears. There's a psychological trap happening here that almost nobody talks about in practical terms. It's not about discipline. It's not about budgeting apps. It's about something deeper, how your brain interprets progress and how the world around you is designed to recalibrate your spending every time your income moves up. This is about lifestyle inflation, but not the way it's usually explained. We're going to walk through what actually happens inside a real person's financial life when they start earning more, and by the end, you'll understand why most people never escape the cycle, even when they think they're doing fine. Let's talk about Sarah. She's 32, lives in a mid-sized US city, let's say Denver, works in marketing at a tech-adjacent company, not Silicon Valley money, but respectable. She just got promoted. Her salary went from $62,000 to $78,000. After taxes, that's an extra $900 a month in her pocket. She's thrilled, and honestly, she should be. She worked hard for this. But here's what happens next. Within 3 months, Sarah moves to a nicer apartment. The old place was fine, but it was older, the heating was inconsistent, and her friends had started making comments. The new place is $450 more per month. She justifies it easily. She's earning more, she deserves better, and it's still within the recommended 30% of her income. Now, this is the point where most financial advice would tell you to just budget better. But budgeting isn't what failed here. Nothing actually went wrong. Then she finances a newer car. The old one still worked, but it needed repairs soon, and she was tired of feeling embarrassed in the parking lot. Monthly payment, $420. Again, manageable. She's making more now. She upgrades her gym membership to one with a sauna and nicer equipment. She starts ordering delivery more often instead of meal prepping. She buys better clothes because she's in client meetings now. She subscribes to a few new services: premium streaming, meditation app, cloud storage, that wine subscription her coworker recommended. None of these decisions feel reckless. Each one is rational in isolation. And that's the trap. Because when you add it up, Sarah's lifestyle expenses increased by about $1,100 a month. Her raise gave her $900 after tax. She's now spending more than she gained, and she doesn't even realize it. She still feels like she's living paycheck to paycheck. Maybe even more so, because now the baseline is higher, and there's less room to cut back. So what's actually happening here? This isn't about Sarah being irresponsible. This is about how human perception works. When your income increases, your brain doesn't treat it as surplus, it treats it as a new baseline. And once that baseline is set, everything below it feels like loss. Psychologists call this the hedonic treadmill. You adapt to improvements quickly. What felt like a luxury 3 months ago now feels normal, and what used to feel normal now feels restrictive. Over the past decade, incomes have risen in many industries, but long-term savings rates haven't moved much. People aren't earning too little. They're absorbing every increase into lifestyle. Here's the financial math Sarah isn't running. That extra $450 a month on rent, over 10 years at a conservative 7% average return if invested in a simple index fund, that's about $78,000. The car payment, another $72,000. Together, that's $150,000 in future wealth she's trading for present comfort. But it doesn't feel that way in the moment. In the moment, it feels like she's finally living the life she was supposed to have, and the world around her agrees. Her Instagram feed is full of people in nice apartments. Her coworkers talk about their weekend trips. The algorithm serves her ads for things that match her new income bracket. She's not keeping up with the Joneses anymore. She's keeping up with the algorithm. And here's the critical part. This recalibration happens automatically. Sarah didn't sit down and decide to inflate her lifestyle. It just happened because every system around her, social media, targeted ads, credit approval algorithms, even her own peer group adjusts to her new income level faster than she can think critically about it. Let's project this forward. Sarah is 32. If this pattern continues, if every raise, every bonus, every income bump gets absorbed by lifestyle inflation, she'll reach 45 still living paycheck to paycheck. She'll be earning $120,000, maybe more, and still feel financially anxious, because the gap between income and expenses will remain narrow no matter how much she makes. Retirement calculators recommend having about 1 times your salary saved by 35, 3 times by 45, and 6 times by 55 if you want to retire comfortably. Sarah is currently behind, and every month she stays on this treadmill, she falls further behind. But the real cost isn't just the numbers, it's the loss of freedom. When your expenses rise with your income, you become more dependent on that income, not less. You can't take a career risk. You can't handle a layoff. You can't pivot industries or take time off to retrain. You're locked in. The golden handcuffs get tighter every year. And the psychological toll is quiet but constant. There's a background hum of financial stress that never quite goes away, because deep down, you know the math doesn't work. You know you're supposed to be building something, but you look at your account and there's nothing accumulating, just a higher baseline of spending. This is what lifestyle inflation actually steals. Not just money, but optionality. The ability to say no. The ability to wait. The ability to choose. Now let's talk about the people who don't fall into this. They're not superhuman. They're not depriving themselves. They just think about income differently. When someone with a different financial psychology gets a raise, they don't ask, "What can I afford now?" They ask, "What does this change about my long-term position?" Let's rewind Sarah's story with this mindset. She gets the same promotion, same $900 a month after tax, but instead of upgrading her life immediately, she runs a simple thought experiment. What if I pretend this raise didn't happen for 1 year? She keeps the same apartment, keeps the same car, keeps the same routine, and every month that $900 goes into a brokerage account, automatic transfer. She doesn't even see it. After 1 year, she has $10,800 invested. That's not life-changing yet, but it's a foundation. And if she maintains this for 5 years while her income continues to grow, she's built a 6-figure buffer. At that point, she has options. She can take a sabbatical. She can negotiate from a position of strength. She can handle an emergency without debt. And here's the interesting part. After that first year, she probably will upgrade some things, but she'll do it consciously, selectively, and from a position of financial security rather than financial fragility. The difference in psychology is enormous. This approach doesn't require extreme frugality. It requires a time delay, a buffer between owning more and spending more. That's it. Most people skip that buffer. They go straight from raise to upgrade because it feels like the reward they've earned. And that feeling is real, but it's also the mechanism that keeps them trapped. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Lifestyle inflation is normalized. If you tell people you got a raise and didn't change anything about your life, they'll look at you like something's wrong. What's the point of earning more if you don't enjoy it, they'll say. And they're not entirely wrong. There's no point in optimizing your life into joyless efficiency. But there's a difference between intentional enjoyment and automatic escalation. The people who build real financial security aren't avoiding pleasure. They're just separating pleasure from the need for continuous upgrade. They've learned to enjoy what they have without constantly recalibrating to a new normal. That's the shift. It's not about living below your means forever. It's about living below your new means long enough to build a foundation. And once that foundation exists, you upgrade from security, not from scarcity. This isn't a moral stance, it's a strategic one, because the world is designed to capture your income growth. Every business, every platform, every algorithm is optimized to identify when you start earning more and immediately position products that match your new range. If you don't have a plan for that moment, the plan is already made for you. Lifestyle inflation isn't a personal failure. It's a predictable response to how modern consumer systems work. But knowing that doesn't make you immune. It just gives you a choice. You can let your expenses rise automatically with your income and stay in the same relative financial position forever, Or you can create a deliberate gap, even a temporary one, and use it to build something that changes your position permanently. Most people don't realize they have this choice until it's too late. The treadmill just keeps moving. But if you caught this early, if this made you stop and think about your own financial trajectory, that awareness alone is worth something. If this breakdown felt useful, consider subscribing. We do more of these, real scenarios, real psychology, no hype. And if you've experienced this pattern yourself, I'd be curious to hear about it in the comments. Most people don't notice lifestyle inflation because nothing feels wrong. Life just gets more expensive. The real question isn't whether you'll earn more, it's whether that increase will change your future or just upgrade your monthly bills. If this made you think differently about your own trajectory, consider subscribing. We break down the psychology behind money, not the hype.